You ever wonder where things like people come from and stuff? Well, some people did. Specifically, some people here. Basically, the people were like, oh, well, this stuff is here. How did it get here? So they made some magic stories, and let's talk about some of those magic stories. In the beginning, there was Gaia, Tartarus, and Eros. Gaia was kind of like the Mother Earth of this whole situation, and we're going to talk about her. Gaia got lonely and she sprouted Uranus, or Uranus, however you put it. Do not make a joke out of that. And then Earth Mom, she had a kid named Kronos. She also had a bunch of other kids, but we don't really care about them because they were ugly and they got thrown into Tartarus. But you know who does care is Earth Mom, so she's a little sad about that. But wait, she has that kid Kronos, so she can just ask him to overthrow Uranus, his dad, so he can just, and save his ugly siblings from God jail. And what he does is not the most appropriate, so this is probably the best drawing I can do for it. But basically he overthrows his dad and he gets to rule all this stuff and start being important. Sick, dude, now you're in charge. And you're kind of the most important guy right now. Except you remember your ugly siblings that got put in God jail, right? You're gonna rescue them, right? Gaia was like, yo, dude, the whole reason I asked you to overthrow your dad was so you could free your ugly siblings out of God jail. Do you think you could do that? Because, you haven't done it yet, and it's kind of the whole reason I wanted you to do this. But he didn't. He was too busy getting married. And once they got married, he was like, hold up, wait a minute. What if my kids try and do to me what I did to my dad? What would I do? So he thought of an interesting solution. Instead of, not having children, whenever his wife would pop out another baby, he'd just and eat it. But when his last baby, Zeus, came out, his wife was like, nah, I'm fed up of this. So when her husband was like, yo, can you hand over our child so I can eat him while you helplessly watch? She was like, yep, totally, I'll hand you our baby right now. This is our baby, totally our baby. Yeah, this is our baby that we had, that I had just 5 minutes ago. Yep, this is a totally alive baby. But anyways, while that was happening, the real Zeus was being carried off into a cave where he would be raised by a goat. And to cover up Zeus's baby noises and stuff, they had a rock concert or something outside. So now little Zeus is Big Zeus. Congrats! Uh-oh, would you look at that? He's putting some no-no tummy ache juice into Kronos' drink. It's almost like he's trying to overthrow his dad, like his dad to his dad. Well, now Kronos is drinking his tummy ache juice coffee, and oh, would you look at that? He just threw up all of Zeus's kind of now fully grown-up siblings that grew up in Kronos' stomach. So Zeus asked his brothers Poseidon and Hades if they wanted to come on a little adventure and overthrow their dad with him. But Earth Mom is still sad about her ugly children being in God jail. So she said, hey, Zeus, do you mind freeing your ugly uncles from God jail? They might also give you some cool loot, to help overthrow your dad. And with the help of the Cyclopses and the Hecatoncheires, he did overthrow his dad. Although we don't actually know a bunch about the war because maybe the Greeks forgot to write it down or something, or maybe it was just all in the Library of Alexandria. I don't know. All we really know is that now Zeus is the king of all the gods, and his brothers, Poseidon and Hades, get to rule the sea and the dead people, I guess. You might be wondering what they did with their dad. They chopped him up into a billion pieces, and then they threw him into Tartarus. They eventually have 12 major gods: Zeus, Hera, Poseidon, Demeter, Athena, Apollo, Artemis, Ares, Hephaestus, Aphrodite, Hermes, and Dionysus. But there are still obviously way more gods than that.